Hello, this is a short tutorial showing you how to do the FF8 party manipulation for Ultimecia for console and RTA timing. On the left of the screen, we have a video showing Squall's movements after the Adele fight. We will use those movements and put them into the program at the top right. And then after that, on the bottom right, this is the run itself just before Ultimecia, where I'll show off the trick. So when tracking Squall's movements, he has 4 different ways he can move, either up, down, left, or right. The easiest way to check how he's doing this is by looking at his head. And the direction that it tilts is the direction you're going to want to input. You'll see in the program there are 2, 4, 6, or 8. Similar to WASD, these are your movement keys. So 8 means he's leaning forward, 4 means he's leaning left, 6 means he's leaning right, 2 means he's leaning backwards. You want to input 12 of these movements, so we'll track them right now. So he leaned back, he leaned forward, leaned right, he leaned forward, he leaned back, he leaned right, back, right, forward, right, backwards, down. And after the 12 movement, it's important that you hold a button, or a direction rather, on your controller for the whole duration of the cinematic afterwards. The reason we want to do this is every single time Squall needs to do a movement, if no key is pressed down, it searches the RNG for which direction Squall should move in. And this moves the RNG every single time. But now we know exactly where we are in the RNG, so we want to stop it from moving. So after you've tracked those 12 movements, you want to immediately hold any direction, doesn't matter, just as long as you're holding one direction for the entire duration of this cinematic. Right the way down here, after the crows fly, and when the screen goes white like that, you can let go of the button. You're now perfect on Ultimecia party manipulation. You don't need to worry about this up until right at the very end of the run. So let's have a look at what's come up on the screen now. We've got 22, 9, and 6. If you prefer going for a slightly different party, then you could go for example, if you really want Zell in your party, you could go for 9. But green will always be shown as the fastest one you go for. So what do these counts mean? When you get to, move this out of the way, when you get to this final screen, you have this draw point. Every single time you touch the draw point, the RNG moves up by 1. So what this program is telling me right now is that if I draw from this 6 times, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then run to the very end. This screen doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want on the screen, timing doesn't matter here. So you don't need to worry about your movement here at all. The only time you need to worry about it is once you come down from this ladder. So in the next screen, timing is very important. We've set up the RNG, so as soon as we touch the door and input our do the inputs to enter the fight, we're on the perfect timing. So in this screen coming up, we want to just hold up and never let go. And mash X as fast as you can. So I'm going to do exactly like that. I've got X turboed, I'm holding up. And it's quite important that you mash pretty fast here. You only have a couple of frames before it's going to move on to the next RNG. So mash as fast as you can, and once you've input that one box, you're good. So we can now skip forward. And the party that we get is Selfie, Irvine, and Quistis, as mentioned in the program up here, because I did it 6 times. If I did it 9 times, I'd get Irvine, Zell, and Quistis. If I did it 22 times, I'd get Irvine, Cell, and Selfie. Now, there is another way you can do it. So if I go back to here, that's by far the easiest way, is just to interact with a draw point. But let's say, for example, you don't get these really small numbers like 6 or 9. Let's say your smallest number is 22. Interacting with this draw point 22 times takes forever. So instead of doing that, at your discretion, you can choose to click the launch timer button. When you click on that, another window will pop up, and let me add that to my display so you can see it. And it is, this window will pop up, and it will already have your pattern that you inputted, and it will tell you pretty much the exact same information. So Zell, Irvine, Selfie, 22, 9, 6. This pretty much tells you exactly the same thing. This just shows it in a bit more of a clearer format for the program rather than the script. Now you have two options here. The first option is a timer for doing it during the FMV. The FMV is the cinematic where you're doing the inputs. This is really difficult to do because you're already inputting this into the program at the same time. So what I'd advise is not doing this and just skipping this. So you just press enter and that skips it. Now we go on to the second time that you can adjust this. That is during the last map. The last map is the bridge. And what you do on this is you run forward on the bridge and activate this at a time that you want to stop. So I can't do this on emulator because it will freeze the emulator while I'm tabbing over. But all you would do is you run forward, and then at a time that you're comfortable, you would press enter to start this timer. You would stay very still, and once that reaches 6, the counts on the left, you would start running again and do exactly how you did before. Now it's reached 22, and then I would run and do exactly how we did it before. This is just showing you the RNG changing. We're doing that from also touching the draw point, but see how much faster this is than us touching it. So that's the other way you can do it. This way is a lot more tricky to time because it's not 100% perfect. You know, you have to react as opposed to interacting with a draw point, which is very precise. So I would only recommend doing this if you're very comfortable with this trick, you've tried it a lot of times, and you've got an excessively high number, like 22. So that is the basics of this. And I'll cover another little advanced thing you can do. Wall's movements are quite hard to track while this is going on. The first ones aren't too difficult, like it's quite clear what he's doing here. But when the camera moves, like here, and especially here, it can be really difficult to see what he's doing, especially if it's a right input. So if you can't tell what he's doing and you don't have the luxury of checking your VOD before the fight, this program actually accepts wildcards. And a wildcard is just, it matches anything. So if you're not sure, for example, maybe I'm not sure what the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th input is. I don't know if he moves right or if he moved backwards. Maybe I couldn't tell. The input is 5 for this. 5 is a wild card, and you can have usually around about 4 of these before it turns up multiple results. So if I delete these and replace them with 5s, there's still only one possible combination that could be, so that's great. But if I start putting in more 5s, there's multiple combinations of what this could be. So at this point, it could either be this or this, and it's quite hard to tell. The only way you know is by looking at these inputs here and figuring out, oh yeah, maybe it was a right input, or maybe it was a down input. So you don't have to be too good to figure this part out because you've got a lot of wildcards that you can use here. So hopefully that helps you, because it's a really useful trick and it's much faster than doing it normally. Good luck!